You can get the thing you wanted for years, and your mind can start treating it like background noise. The apartment that once felt like freedom becomes a place where bills arrive. The relationship that once made your chest feel lighter becomes part of the routine. The salary that once seemed impossible becomes the number you are afraid to lose. For a short time, life feels transformed. Then something strange happens. You wake up inside the new life, and your mind has already moved the finish line. This is not only disappointment. It is one of the deepest design problems of human happiness. The feeling you chase is not built to stay still. Most people discover this quietly. No dramatic collapse happens. Nobody announces that the magic has ended. One day, the thing that once felt extraordinary simply feels normal. You still have it. You may still value it. Yet the emotional glow has faded. That fading can feel personal, as if you failed to appreciate your own life. But the mind may be doing something much older than gratitude or ingratitude. It is adapting. In psychology, this is often called hedonic adaptation. The simple idea is that people tend to adjust to good and bad changes more than they expect. A famous study from the late 1970s compared major lottery winners with people who had experienced life-changing accidents. The result was not that money means nothing or pain means nothing. Reality is more careful than that. Life conditions matter deeply. But the study became famous because it showed how powerfully people can adapt to extreme changes. Happiness was not a permanent prize that arrived and stayed untouched. It behaved more like a moving baseline. You may imagine happiness as a destination. Your brain often treats it as information. A burst of joy tells the system that something valuable has happened. Then, attention has to return to the next uncertainty. That is why the first day feels different from the 100th day. The first message from someone you like can feel electric. Months later, the same name on the screen may feel ordinary. Nothing necessarily went wrong. Prediction simply replaced surprise. When your mind can predict a reward, the reward often loses intensity. Novelty makes the world brighter because the brain has not yet filed it away. Familiarity is useful, but it is emotionally expensive. It saves energy by turning miracles into furniture. A new car becomes transport. A beautiful view becomes the view from home. A solved problem becomes the starting point for the next problem. This is where happiness begins to look almost cruel. You work for the change. You imagine the change. You tell yourself everything will feel different after the change. For a while, it does. Then your inner world catches up. The outside has changed, but the interpreting system is still yours. That system has habits. It compares. It worries. It remembers selectively. It searches for what is missing. More money can remove real pressure, especially when life is unstable. Better relationships can make life safer and warmer. Health, friendship, respect, and rest are not illusions. The mistake is believing that any one improvement will permanently silence the mind. Silence is not what the mind evolved to protect. A perfectly satisfied animal would stop scanning the environment. A brain that never returned to worry would miss danger. Too much peace in the wrong world could become blindness. This does not mean humans are built to suffer. It means they are built to update. The same ability that helps you survive change also makes pleasure fade. Your nervous system is sensitive to difference more than stability. A cold room feels intense when you enter it. After a while, your body adjusts. A good life can work the same way emotionally. At first, the difference is obvious. Later, the difference becomes the room you live in. The mind does not keep applauding the room. It starts checking the windows. This is why fear can return inside happiness. Love can make life warmer, but it also gives the mind something precious to lose. Success may feel like a rival for a moment, until it becomes a height you have to defend. Freedom sounds like relief from the outside. From the inside, it often means carrying the weight of choices that cannot be blamed on anyone else. Recognition feels good because it tells you that you are seen, but being seen can quietly turn into pressure to remain impressive. Every desired thing carries a shadow. Once you get it, the mind begins asking how to protect it. That question can quietly eat the joy it was meant to defend. Once you get it, the mind begins asking how to protect it. That question can quietly eat the joy it was meant to defend. Behavioral economics gives this problem another name. Kahneman and Tversky argued that losses often feel more powerful than equivalent gains. In ordinary life, this means the fear of losing happiness can become stronger than the happiness itself. You can receive praise from many people and replay the one cold sentence. You can have a stable relationship and obsess over one change in tone. A normal delay in a reply can become a private courtroom. Your body reacts before the evidence is complete. The mind fills silence with prediction. Sometimes the prediction is wrong. Still, the feeling arrives as if danger has already been confirmed. Happiness asks you to rest in what is here. Fear pulls you toward what might disappear. Modern life makes that pull stronger. Your ancestors compared themselves with people they actually knew. You compare yourself with edited fragments of thousands of lives. A quiet evening can feel peaceful until a phone turns it into evidence that everyone else is somewhere better. A normal face can feel defective after enough perfected images. A decent career can feel delayed when strangers perform success all day. Your mind was not built for infinite social comparison. It was built to understand rank, belonging, danger, and approval in a much smaller world. The modern feed turns those ancient sensitivities into a machine that never finishes. Even when your life improves, the comparison set expands. You do not only ask whether you are okay, you ask whether you are okay compared with people you should never have been measuring yourself against. Happiness becomes harder to keep because the target keeps moving in public. There is always someone richer, calmer, younger, more loved, more disciplined, or more certain. The mind does not need to believe the comparison is fair for the comparison to hurt. It only needs to feel that you are falling behind. This is where desire becomes more powerful than pleasure. Wanting often feels vivid because it points toward a future that has not disappointed you yet. Possession is different. Once you own the thing, imagination has to surrender to reality. The new phone has scratches. The dream job has emails. The perfect trip has tired mornings. The person you idealized becomes a real human being with moods, needs, and contradictions. Desire edits the future. Reality adds texture back. That texture is not failure. It is the cost of leaving fantasy. Psychologists who study affective forecasting have found that people often misjudge how long future feelings will last. You may believe a success will change your emotional life for months. You may believe a rejection will ruin everything. The real feeling often fades faster than predicted. The mind is not very good at imagining its own adaptation. From the outside, this seems irrational. From the inside, it feels obvious. Before an event happens, attention narrows around it. The exam, promotion, message, purchase, apology, or breakup becomes the center of the universe. Afterward, the rest of life returns. You still need sleep. You still get hungry. Annoying tasks still exist. Old insecurities still know the way back. The future event was never going to replace the entire mind. It was only going to enter it. Memory makes this even more confusing. You may think you remember past happiness clearly, but memory is not a clean recording stored in a mental archive. Researchers such as Elizabeth Loftus have shown how memory can be altered by later information, suggestion, and reconstruction. The past is partly rebuilt each time you return to it. A lonely present can make an old period look warmer. A stressful week can polish a former relationship until its boredom disappears. Childhood can look simpler after adulthood becomes heavy. The mind edits the past according to the needs of the present. That edited past becomes a dangerous rival. Today has to compete with memories that no longer contain their full discomfort. You compare this ordinary afternoon with a version of yesterday that has been cleaned by nostalgia. Real life usually loses that contest. This is why people can miss years they complained about while living through them. They are not always lying to themselves. They are remembering through a different emotional weather. Happiness fades in the present. Then memory sometimes exaggerates it in the past. The result is a strange trap. You cannot hold the feeling while it is happening, but you may worship it after it is gone. Identity adds another layer. Many people do not only chase happiness, they chase a version of themselves. The successful self, the loved self, the calm self, the admired self, the self who finally has proof that life is working. But when the goal arrives, identity does not always know what to do. If you spent years becoming someone, arrival can feel like the loss of a mission. A person who has lived under pressure may find peace strangely uncomfortable. A person who has built meaning around struggle may feel empty when the struggle quiets. The problem is not that they secretly want pain. Familiar tension can feel more understandable than unfamiliar ease. Your mind may prefer a known problem to an undefined freedom. This is why achievement can be followed by sadness. The world celebrates the finish line. Inside, the structure that organized your attention has disappeared. For years, the goal explained your sacrifices. After the goal, the explanation weakens. You are left with a quieter question. What now? That question can feel like emptiness, even inside success. The modern world does not let that emptiness remain private for long. It offers a new target immediately, a better body, a larger audience, a more impressive lifestyle, a cleaner routine, a more optimized personality. Consumer culture understands adaptation better than most people do. It knows that yesterday's desire becomes today's normal, so it keeps producing new symbols of arrival. Not because any symbol can finally complete you, because incompletion keeps the machine moving. Social media adds another pressure. You are not only supposed to be happy, you are supposed to look happy in a way other people can understand quickly. Joy becomes a performance. Rest becomes aesthetic. Love becomes content. Even self-improvement becomes a public identity. The inner life starts behaving like a display window. You do not simply ask, "Am I happy?" You ask, "Does my happiness look convincing?" That question changes the feeling. Nobody can fully relax while checking whether relaxation looks real. Attention is the hidden battlefield under all of this. In a large study by Killingsworth and Gilbert, people reported being less happy when their minds were wandering than when they were focused on what they were doing. The point is not that every wandering thought is bad. Imagination, planning, and reflection matter. But a mind that constantly leaves the present can struggle to feel the life it already has. You can be sitting with friends while mentally rehearsing tomorrow. You can lie in a warm bed while arguing with a sentence from yesterday. You can eat good food while comparing your body to someone on a screen. Happiness often requires attention to remain near the moment. Modern life trains attention to escape. Notifications interrupt it. Algorithms redirect it. Work monetizes it. Anxiety pulls it forward. Memory pulls it backward. Comparison pulls it sideways. By the time happiness appears, attention may already be somewhere else. This may be the most painful part. The good thing can be present while you are absent from it. Later, when it is gone, memory finally gives it color. You realize what the moment meant only after the mind has stopped treating it as available. Loss often reveals value that familiarity concealed. The ordinary breakfast becomes precious when the person across from you is no longer there. The healthy body becomes miraculous after illness threatens it. The peaceful period becomes visible only after chaos returns. Presence is quiet. Absence is loud. That imbalance shapes the emotional life more than people want to admit. Bad news demands attention. Good conditions ask to be noticed. Demands usually win. This does not mean happiness is fake. A feeling does not become meaningless because it changes. A song is not worthless because the last note ends. A conversation is not false because silence follows it. A season is not a mistake because another season replaces it. Happiness may be real precisely because it moves through time. The tragedy is expecting it to behave like a permanent possession. You cannot own a mood the way you own an object. You can only pass through it, notice what it reveals, and understand why it fades. The mind adapts because stability must become manageable. It fears loss because valuable things can disappear. Comparison hurts because belonging and status still matter. Memory edits because the self needs a story. Desire returns because the future remains unfinished. These forces do not make you broken. They make happiness unstable. The deeper question is not how to make happiness last forever. A more honest question is why you were taught to expect that it should. Maybe you imagined a future where uncertainty stopped. Maybe you believed the right achievement would end self-doubt. Maybe you hoped love would remove fear, money would remove insecurity, or freedom would remove responsibility. Real life does not offer that bargain. Every good thing enters time. Time makes it familiar. Familiarity lowers intensity. Lower intensity makes the mind search again. This cycle can feel cruel, but it also makes renewal possible. If joy never faded, you might never notice new beauty. If desire never moved, growth could become impossible. If fear never returned, protection could fail. The same mind that steals the glow also keeps you alive, learning, and unfinished. So when happiness fades, it does not always mean the moment failed. Sometimes, it means the moment became part of you. The glow disappeared, but the trace remained. You are not the same after being loved, relieved, proud, safe, or understood. Even brief happiness can teach the mind what matters. It can reveal the shape of a need before the feeling dissolves. The mistake is treating the dissolving as proof that nothing was real. What you wanted may still matter after the excitement fades. What you have may still be valuable after the mind stops celebrating it. The fact that happiness does not last forever does not make it meaningless. It makes it human. You are not built to freeze at the peak of pleasure. You are built to adapt, compare, remember, fear, want, and continue. Happiness appears like a flare in the dark. For a moment, it shows you what your mind values. Then the light fades. The unfinished world returns, and you are left with the harder task, not chasing the glow forever, but learning how to live when the glow becomes ordinary,